Anti-terrorist officers believe that the haul of explosives seized at the Lancashire port of Heysham were made in the Irish Republic. More than 2 tons of the homemade explosives were packed into a lorry which arrived on board a ferry from Warren Point in Northern Ireland. Police say they were probably made in the Republic and driven across the border. It's World Cup semi-finals night in the United States, and by the time the competition comes to an end this weekend, Americans would have had 4 weeks' exposure to soccer, a game as unfamiliar to most of them as baseball is to most of us. So what have they made of it, and will the game take off in America? Our Washington correspondent Bill Neely reports.
Maybe the World Cup was always going to be different in America.
This segment of the game is presented commercial-free by Snickers.
Unexpected victories.
Wonderful piece of football. He's still in here. Oh, that's the greatest goal of the tournament.
Surprising stars. Unlikely heroes. Beaten champions.
Bulgaria have done it.
All in a country that normally likes its football played with body armor and timeouts. Normally.
To Romario!
Even the authorities who gave America the World Cup to give soccer a kick-start here have been astonished at how the US has taken to it.
Oh, man!
No sport has been more popular this summer. On television, it's had 3 times the audience of tennis, golf and baseball.
Soccer really has arrived in the United States.
After the US victory over Colombia, up to 40 million Americans tuned in to watch their team lose to Brazil.
It's big event television. It draws viewers because they know it's a big event. So these numbers are astonishing, and maybe a lot has to do with the success of the American team.
America got to the second round and found its own heroes like Alexei Lalas, who plays football when he's not leading his rock band. Record decibels and record viewing figures on sports channels. They're pushing soccer for all it's worth.
We really get into the game. I mean, it's our passion. It's pretty much our lives. And, you know, we call every game as it were the last.
And with 3.5 million fans going to the games, this is the most profitable World Cup ever. More people are going to the games here than at any previous World Cup. The match between Saudi Arabia and Morocco, for example, filled Giant Stadium with more than 72,000 people. But can soccer's momentum in the US be sustained? Next year, there is supposed to be a professional league here. So far, they have 7 teams, no players, and no TV contract.
Soccer certainly has its uphill battle, but there probably is a niche for it, and we'll just have to see where it is.
I just hope they don't alter the rules and the traditions to fit what Americans need, which is scoring.
And the World Cup hasn't entirely won over the American public.
Don't know anything about it.
Nothing. Zip. What sport? World Cup. Soccer World Cup, nothing.
Keep an eye on these 2 players right here.
Television's trying hard to explain soccer.
The offensive player always has the advantage over the defensive player.
Sometimes trying too hard.
The keys for Switzerland here are one of...
Endless facts and ceaseless commentary and comment.
It's 50-50 the chances.
Football in America still has a long way to go to sell itself.
It's brought to you by GMC Truck. By Canon is presented commercial-free by Coca-Cola.
But there's little doubt that this year, America has seen and hosted a vintage tournament. Bill Neely, News at 10, New Jersey.
Back home, Norwich City are to discipline their striker Chris Sutton after he spent the night in a police cell. Sutton is currently considering a record-breaking £5 million transfer to either Blackburn Rovers or Arsenal. He was arrested and cautioned after a car was damaged in Norwich city centre. Alex McLeish has been confirmed as the new manager of Motherwell. He signed a 3-year contract at the Scottish Premier Division club after spending 18 years as a player at Aberdeen. And Britain's Chris Boardman has pulled out of the Tour de France suffering from exhaustion. The Olympic champion said he wanted to save himself for next month's World Championships. Boardman wore the leader's yellow jersey for 3 days at the start of the race. And finally, English has about 500,000 different words, with new ones being coined all the time and old ones getting new meanings, which is why one dictionary publisher is now using a computer database to help it keep up, and why it's listening in on everyday conversations. Robin White explains all.
The wine may be good, the food delicious, but what these people are most concerned with is the conversation they're having.
And then I feel terrible because I've shouted at her. But I know I was right to shout at her because I care about it.
This is one way researchers find out how the English language is changing. Tapes of dinner parties, conferences, business meetings are analysed and fed into a huge computer base in Birmingham called the Bank of English. The database, which now has 200 million words and definitions in it, will serve dictionary compilers, translators, teachers and foreign universities.
To take a very common example of a very common word, a word like run, probably 60 different meanings there. Give, use meaning, you know, give a look, give a smile, much more than the rope gave and I tumbled into the river, that kind of thing.
At their offices in Birmingham University, researchers find up to a dozen new words a week. Words like wicked, currently used to describe how good rather than how bad something is. But then, as William Shakespeare wrote, what's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other name, would smell as sweet.
Only the usual words from us. That's news at 10 tonight. We're back tomorrow. From all of us here at ITN, good night.